Temperature rising, vision blurring, rage taking over.
Here's Paul Calvisi.
I'm ready. I'm 100% ready. I'm telling you I'm ready.
And Ron Wolfley.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Unleash the fury!
Wolf, let's keep it simple here, okay?
Please.
Big game, big D, big stage, big red rage. All presented by Emergency Air. And before we kick it off in Dallas and start kicking some Cowboys tail pads, if you will, if we're in search of a dub, how about we bring you A-Dub? Adrian Wilson, everyone, returns to the Big Red Rage.
Oh, Dub.
Now, Dub, I don't want to speak for you, but I mean, when it comes to your legendary career, I mean, you know, 5-time Pro Bowler, former All-Pro, your name's on the stadium. You got to wear Wolf's number 24, okay?
Enough of that, Paul.
I mean, you played in Super Bowl 43, but I know your shining moment was your stint as the player host of the Big Red Rage.
It's up there.
It is.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yes, it is. There's no doubt.
It is. How's everybody doing, by the way?
Yeah, man.
It's awesome.
Always a man of the people.
That is great, Dub. So how's it going, man? How have you been, brother?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Just hanging in there, you know,
Okay.
enjoying life right now, and, you know, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
here soon.
you know what? Yeah, I was talking a little bit to you about that. Yeah, life's going well. That's
Yeah,
good.
it
I'm
is.
happy to hear that, bro.
All right, so two things we have going for us. Number one, A-Dub had the wherewithal to not wear the cowboy hat. Because if there's one week you don't want to wear the cowboy hat, it's when you're playing the Dallas Cowboys. And then number two, how about our new venue? How about
it's
this?
Pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
I mean, Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. Here we are, level 2, Wolf. I mean, look at the patio here. Perfect weather, great scenery, literally the stadium behind us, and a great crowd here. Red Sea, how about it? Bird Gang, let's hear you. Yep.
There's no doubt about it, Paulie. It feels really, really good to be back here, too. You know, when you stop and think about it, we used to do all the Big Red Rages live, of course. Always used to do that. It's very, very cool that we're back out here and with the Red Sea once again. No doubt about it.
All right, season 25, by the way, the Big Red Rage. Show number 740
Man.
overall. How about that?
Come on.
Yep. And guess who's been there for every one of them? Executive producer Jim Alejandro. So that is a double ding right there. Let's get into the game. Let's get into the storylines. Let's get into a Cardinals defense that could use some interior pass rush. How about a debut of the 16th pick overall, Walter Nolan III? If indeed that's the way this is tracking, and he's on the practice field, everything looks good so far, knock on wood. Dub, people might not know about all the time you spent and the acumen you have in the personnel end of things. So you tell us about Walter Nolan III. Give us a refresher because we have not seen him play this year.
Yeah, 6'3", 305 pounds of quickness, explosion, strength, and powerful hands. And he can just jack guards up all the way through to the backfield. I think the one thing about him is throughout his time, he's always played. So I think him sitting out of preseason, him sitting out the first however many games we played now, he's never been that guy in college. So for him to get injured, I think it was more of a freak thing. But I really do think he's really going to help this defense out.
Dub, how difficult do you think it's going to be for Walter Nolan to absorb the defense? You know, once again, it's a situation where you're sitting in a classroom, you're watching tape, you're out there going through reps, of course, schematically on the field in practice. But, man, it's a whole different thing, isn't it?
It
Once
really
you
is.
get into the real game.
It really is. I think the live play, obviously, is a lot different than practice speed. But I think they will limit his ability just to go out there and not have to think. I think they're going to tell him to get into a gap and just go. And that's the best thing he does.
Yeah, there's certain positions that lend themselves better to making an instant splash in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Running back, maybe
Yes.
edge rusher.
Edge rush, yes.
What about interior D-line? Do we need to stay realistic, or can he make an impact?
I mean, I think you need to stay realistic with every rookie. I don't think just him. I think every rookie, you just don't know what you're going to get. You know, you can have the college tape, look at the college tape. You can see the practice reps. You can see, you know, just the football character. And, you know, what's his makeup, what makes him go. And I think that's the one thing with him, with Walter Nolan, like he's never missed a game. So for him to not have missed a game his whole college career to missing this time now, I think he's going to come out ready to go.
Dub, how would you use him Like you're not going to throw him out there and say 50 reps, go have at it.
Yeah.
You're not going to. How would you play Walter Nolan to start?
I do think he's a part-time DPR. DPR means defensive pass rusher. It can be an outside backer. It can be an interior guy. I would definitely just use him on third down or passing situations, just depending on what it is.
Okay.
Because, look, guys, there's a lot to like about the Cardinals' defense this year. There's no doubt about it. They spend much of the year as a top 5, top 10 scoring defense. But it's the fourth quarter. It's the fourth quarter, all three phases. It's finishing. And the more finishers you have, Walter Nolan III hopefully is one in the making. But, for example, in the fourth quarter this season, the Cardinals' defense has 2 sacks. That's it.
Yes.
I mean, if there's one thing you could improve coming out of the bye, Dub, I mean, defensively, how do you improve that pass rush? I mean, is it a matter of the personnel strictly? Do you think they change the scheme? Do they start calling it differently?
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, I think when you have a new group on the defensive line and offensive line, like, it takes those guys time to develop rhythm. Like, that's what the defensive line is. It's a rhythm. Like, it's not just lining up, putting your hands in the dirt and going. It's a rhythm with the other 3 guys. And I think it just takes time. You know, they're still adding guys into the rotation right now. So, coming out of the bye, I'm pretty sure they've had time to kind of go back and self-scout, look at the things that they do well versus the things that they don't do well. Now, in terms of the fourth quarter stuff and all of that, I think this is a great testament for the team, like something that they can actually build upon. Because, yes, they've lost those games, but you have to lose those types of games in order for you to win. It may not be today. It may not be this year. But them going through what they've gone through is going to really propel this team going forward.
You know, for me, too, I think of the fourth quarter, I think of talent, and I think of your best players having to step up and play their best when it matters the most. Would you agree with that, Dub?
Yeah.
Philosophically, that happens more times than not.
Yeah, I do. I think in critical situations, your blue chip players got to play blue chip. Like, that's the way it's always been in this league. This league is a tight league all the way across the board. So once it gets to the fourth quarter and the game is close, a lot of teams are going to rely on their run game, their defense, and their kicker.
Let's talk about the Cardinals secondary, because in a matter of moments, we're going to be talking with Will Johnson a little bit later, the Cardinals second-round pick. He's going to join us, and looking forward to talking to Will Johnson. Garrett Williams back out on the practice field. For those folks who maybe sort of like a nose tackle is at the epicenter of all the action, right? An outside corner, oh boy, they're on an island. But a nickel corner doesn't get noticed nearly as much. In today's game, how vital is it to have that guy at that position?
I mean, it's as vital as having a competent backup quarterback. As we all know here, you know, that's just one of those positions. You know, when you look at the pay scale of how guys get paid, that nickel corner is down in the top 5 of guys getting paid real money. So when you look at things like that, you look at, you know, just your roster build out and what that is. That nickel position is right up there with pass rusher, with quarterback, with offensive lineman. So that's definitely something that I'm pretty sure those guys are happy to get back. You
know, for me, too, I think of the Arizona Cardinals and how they use some of their DBs, like Garrett Williams. This is a guy that you could line up, and he could play corner. He could play on the outside. He could play on the interior, of course, on the inside, over the slot. He could do that. They also backed him off and put him in safety.
True.
For a two-deep look, because he was so good at diagnosing route combinations and jumping those route combinations. And I think of Rabbit as well. And, you know, Jalen Thompson is another guy that plays safety and yet can walk up over that number 3 receiver in the slot and play corner as well. And they use them there often. They have a lot of guys, the versatility that they have in the secondary. Now that Garrett Williams, too, is practicing once again, and I think he's the best at it. Man, it's going to improve the defense the very first day he gets back.
You know, that's a great point. You brought up all those different names because a lot of those guys have been playing out of position a little bit. JT's been going into the nickel. Buddha hasn't been nearly as close to the line of scrimmage. You know, so I'm wondering, and Wolf, you called every game last year, right? When the Cardinals were really rolling.
Buddha was in the box.
Buddha was in the box. And he was number 2 in the NFL in tackles.
Yep.
So if Garrett Williams is backed up, do you think that helps out everybody, including Buddha?
Yeah, it does. I go back to the Green Bay game. I think it was a critical 3rd and 10 plus, and they ended up getting a tight end matched up on Rabbit. And I'm thinking in my head, Rabbit probably wouldn't have been in that position if Derek Williams was healthy. So just being able to kind of just mix and match your coverages, get guys in certain matchups that are more advantageous for you.
All right, B.J. Ojolari, by the way, back on the practice field today, first time since Cardinals camp last year. So that is a great sight to see, man. You can use some more pass rush off the edge, no doubt. Get your hands on the latest gear from the Cardinals team shop. Pick up the hottest items, including the recently dropped Rivalries merch. Go to azcardinals.com/shop today. All right, Will Johnson coming up a little bit later. We'll continue with Adrian Wilson. Big Red Rage presented by Emergency Air at Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium.
Cardinals showing blitz. Look at Adrian Wilson lined up on the line. Carter back to throw. Here comes Wilson. Got him! Adrian Wilson sacks him back at the 27-yard line.
Now, is that a way to start a football game or what?
Carter looks deep, throwing down the right side of the field, underthrown and intercepted. Adrian Wilson at the 30-yard line. Wilson's first pick of the season.
And he is ecstatic. He's ready to throw the football up into the stands.
Quick drop for Carter. He's rolling to the right, but he's going to lob it deep down the near sideline. It's underthrown, and it's intercepted. Adrian Wilson with his second pick of the day. He goes down to the 28-yard line. Carter back to throw with time again. Now he's under pressure. Carter throws into the end zone, and it's underthrown and intercepted again. Adrian Wilson with the trifecta.
He has been sensational all day long.
Yep, he's been terrific. It's maybe the best game of his career.
Well, that's a good question. Think about that, Adrian Wilson, because that was a young Dave Pasch. An even younger Adrian Wilson, circa 2002.
Dave had hair.
He also had some helium in the pipes. In 2002, against the Cowboys, here you go, 8 tackles, 1 sack, 3 picks, 3 passes defensed, and 1 tackle for loss.
Wow.
You talk about being all over the field, all over the box score. So we put it to you, Adrian Wilson, here on the Big Red Rage, presented by Emergency Air, live from Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. Was that indeed the best game of your career?
I don't know. Like, I don't really care. Like, honestly, like, I really don't. Like, you know, I think every game for me was special. You know, I don't think one game outranks the other one. I think just the opportunity to be out there and playing, you know, and just having something to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? I think that was probably something that I went into every game, every practice, every time I walked into that building in Tempe. It's like I have something that's like mine that I can shape and shift and mold the way that I want it to be. And that's kind of how I took every day.
Dub, you know, I remember you making a lot of plays in the fourth quarter as well. I don't know. Would you agree with that? I mean, I just think, once again, your best rises to the top when it matters the most. I think that is what the Cardinals right now need to see more of, whether it's offense, defense, or in transition with special teams. They need dudes to step up in the fourth quarter and make plays. That's where your talent really shines for the most part. And I think right now, Paulie, and I think you'd agree with me on this, that's what hasn't happened so far.
No doubt. No doubt. Will Johnson's coming up, right? He's a rookie. Your son plays college football. I'm guessing you get asked to speak to young football players all the time. The Cardinals have had 28 draft picks the last 3 years. Is there any certain message you like to impart to these young guys about embarking on an NFL career?
Yeah, I just think it takes time. I think a lot of guys want it right now. And I think that's obviously the society that we're living in, this NIL type of world. So these kids are coming in with a high expectation already. And then once they get into the NFL, it kind of knocks their confidence down a couple notches, because those guys that you're playing, like, they're grown men and, like, they're getting paid just like you are. And it's just a different mindset, a different tempo. So it takes time to understand that, but once it hits, don't miss your hit. Like I always say, like, don't miss your hit. Like, take it and run with it. Like, don't miss it.
Like Dub, back when I played, of course, I was a wedge buster, as you well know, and they don't even have a wedge anymore. But there was one wedge bust where I ran down the field up in Lambeau, and I ran down the field, and I looked at the guy on my left the whole way down the field, and when I got about 4 yards away, I hit the other guy right here, right? I hit him and broke his nose. Like, I'll remember that play.
Yeah.
for as long, I hope, Lord willing, for as long as I live, I'm going to remember that play because the splatter was significant. What about you? Is there a play? not where was your best game? What was your best year? I'm talking about, is there a play that sticks in your head from your career? And if so, what would that be?
Yeah, it was probably 2008 maybe, and it really wasn't a real game. It was a preseason game against Houston.
What?
Oh, this ought to be
A
good.
preseason game against Houston. And Andre Johnson was aligned to the wide side of the field. Now, mind you, in preseason, like, we was running like very basic things. Cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, and that's really it. And it was slot, I slot. They motion him across to the short side of the field, and I'm in cover 4, like, on that side. So I'm C10, like, I'm in the C gap, 10 yards away. He motions over. He doesn't go all the way outside. He goes back behind the running back. They run in reverse.
Uh-oh.
And I tackle him for a 4-yard loss. And I'm on the other side of the field.
Wow.
Like, that play will always, like, stick out in my mind as a play that, like film study and just feeling the game. Like, that's when it finally started to, like, click, and it's like, okay, I can feel when plays are going to happen.
That whole seek and destroy mindset.
Yeah.
You could sort of see it right there. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what? As long as we're going down memory lane here, it was 2010. Cardinals, speaking of the preseason, in Nashville, joint practice with the Titans. Do you remember we actually did an edition of this show with Calais Campbell, Adrian Wilson. We were like in the lobby area.
We were there.
Yep, and there's an escalator going behind us. It was an unbelievable scene. People are coming by. We're doing the show, and Joey Porter had just arrived on the scene. An unbelievable personality and team leader. And Adrian Wilson decided to regale us with his impression back in 2010.
He's so hard to imitate. It took me a while to get him down. I was in the mirror practicing for like the last 3 days.
In the mirror practicing.
I mean, this guy is classic. I mean, his pregame speeches are just, they're top notch.
Can you give us something?
Come on, Dub. Trust me, this guy is
Come on, Dub. Give it to
All right, so it's pregame.
Okay.
What would he say?
Pregame, okay. Paul, pretend like, well, you shouldn't pretend because you're not going to be in there. But pretend like you're getting dressed for the game and, we're finna call it up. All right, here's Joey. All right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go out here, and we're going to shoot first, ask questions later. Guards on 3. 1, 2, 3. Guards.
That was good.
It sounds 100% just like that.
He's so hoarse that you can't even really understand what he's saying.
I mean,
That's so good.
15 years later, I'm still laughing because you were sandbagging. You nailed that impersonation.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get Joey. It took me like the whole year to get him down.
That's great.
It seemed like to me, Dub, like you didn't want to do it because you were coming out of your sand a little bit. This is Adrian Wilson, man, the baddest man on the face of the planet. So, was there a little bit of that you didn't want to come out and do it?
Always.
Because,
always.
Because it wasn't who you were.
Yeah, like guys knew like I impersonated like everybody. But it took me like a long time to get Joey. He was like the one guy that took me longer than I expected because I couldn't get my voice there. But everybody else, like I got everybody else down.
Well, people don't realize a welcome to the NFL moment for a lot of rookies was walking into the Cardinals locker room and they would see A-Dub from across the room. They go, wait a minute. That dude is a safety?
Yes.
Like, oh my goodness. Like that was, all right, so you and Carlos Dansby were a great duo, dynamic duo on and off the field. Let's go back to the 2008 NFC Championship, okay? And you had 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, a pass breakup, a forced fumble. And here's the jack-in-the-box explanation from the NFC Championship. It'll make sense as Dansby was mic'd up.
McNabb fumbled the ball. He got sacked by Wilson, and the ball came out. Cardinals got it at the 43-yard line. McNabb never saw Adrian Wilson.
Jack in the box! Jack in the box! Jack in the box! Jack in the box! Jack in the box!
Hey, but you gotta have the music.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
Jack in the Box. Explain that for our radio listeners at home.
It was something me and Carlos Dansby came up with. We kind of took Jared Allen's celebration, mixed it with my YouTube, but we kind of combined the two and came up with the Jack in the Box.
That's Bertrand Berry in there, by the way, and the musician pulling off the
Oh
theme
my
music.
goodness.
What about, do you still keep in touch with Lowe's?
I do. I
Yeah.
keep in touch with a lot of my teammates, man. Those guys are, getting older, joints starting to hurt. They can't do some of the things they used to do, but all those guys are doing well.
Do you talk more about ball or more about life?
Nah, I think all of us have kids. So
Yeah,
it's like
there you
everybody's
go.
talking about their kid. Everybody's talking about whose kid better. It's just like, right now I'm winning. So until Fitz son does something, my son's winning right now. So.
Oh, man. All right. Well, you guys were all there for the NFC Championship, and you want a memory? How about the emotion you felt as soon as that clock hit 000, the confetti's falling down, and there was the radio broadcast, Passion Wolf in the booth, and they deployed Paulie Pencilneck to find you on the field, and here's how it went.
Let's go into Paul Calvisi. Paulie, what do you got?
Adrian, describe this scene in the midst of the chaos, the celebration, and the confetti. Tell us what's going through your head right now.
God is good, man. We worked so hard to get here. The players, coaches, the organization. It's a lot of sacrifice. And we finally here.
You were just handed an NFC Championship hat. How does that feel to put that on?
Feels good, man. I mean, look at the scene, the fans, everybody, man. It just feels great.
Adrian, congratulations. They're pulling him up to the stage, and there is going to be the presentation of the George Halas Trophy. It was so loud in there. In fact, Clete Blakeman gave a presentation to the media, all right, the longtime referee. He said that's still the loudest NFL game he's ever refereed, the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, it was a very, very, very awesome scene.
By the way, I got that wrong. It was another playoff game. It was the 2009 Green Bay coin that didn't flip playoff game. But the point is, that building in the playoffs, even the referees who work every single building rave just about how loud it gets right over our shoulder over here. Where's that season rank for you? I know we started with the game and the 3-interception game, but I mean, in terms of that season and that week in Tampa, I mean, do you guys ever talk about that when you talk to guys like Dansby and Bertrand Berry?
I mean, I think a lot of us, we were all young. Like, it reminded me a lot of this team. And we were all young. We were all drafted within 3 or 4 years of each other. So we had time to, mesh and mold. But thinking back to the week, we didn't know no better. We knew we were a good team. We had good pieces. Individually, we had good pieces. But I think as the season went on, it started to turn, but it started to turn in 2006. That's when it started to turn. And I think, over time, it just kind of built us up and it calloused us to know that, okay, we have talent, and now we're starting to put that talent together, hanging out in the off season, just start doing everything together better.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how we got to that point.
There's so many awesome memories that I have about that game. There's no doubt about it. The cover 0 coming after him to win the game. I got to tell you, man, the hair on the back of my neck is still standing up right now as I remember that. When you guys look back on that, how would you describe your defense? How would you describe that defense, the defense that won the NFC Championship?
I think that defense was... collectively, we were really, really good. We were big, we were long, we were fast.
Yes.
We had a lot of interchangeable pieces. So when I say this team, this defense reminds me a lot of that defense. That's what I'm saying, because they have so many pieces. But it's just funny when you say that, Wolf. It's the memories start flowing, and we had no clue what we were doing. Like when I look back on it,
you don't know what you don't know, right?
You don't know what you don't know until you in it. And it's they had all the experience. Every team that we played, they had more experience than us. All we had was Kurt and Edge. And that was really it.
Yeah.
Everybody else was just, their first time there.
But everyone believed in Kurt, right? Because he had been there and done that, correct?
Yeah, Kurt had a way about him.
Yep.
this nice Christian guy you guys see now. He had a way about him.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had that same trait all you guys had who played in the NFL. You're hyper-competitive, pathologically competitive.
Yeah.
He's that way.
Yeah, he was one of the smartest guys I've ever been around. Him and Emmitt Smith were two of the smartest guys I've ever been around.
One of the things I appreciated the most about Graybeard is the fact he would keep his eyes down the field and didn't care what the pocket was doing around him.
Yeah.
Eyes down the field. All of a sudden the pocket's collapsing and this arm would come out of his pile around him because he still had his eyes on the dig coming in. It was pretty incredible.
And I know you've compared Walter Nolan III to Darnell Dockett. You see some similarities, so that's pretty interesting. We'll continue with Adrian Wilson up next. Will Johnson, Cardinals cornerback. Hey, join us at State Farm Stadium February 21st, the inaugural Cardinals Climb fundraiser. Go to cardinalsclimb.com. We continue with a Big Red Rage. Will Johnson here from Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. And we all know what coaches love to say every season right about now. You know, as we hit Halloween or so, and I'm quoting coaches, basically every coach, well, they ain't rookies anymore. Because, you know, you're halfway through your first season, and that's the way coaches think. Although, I'm not sure our guest has ever truly, really been a rookie, considering his NFL debut featured 3 PBUs, a pick negated by a penalty, and a big, big hit as we talk to Mr. Will Johnson here on the Big Red Rage, presented by Emergency Air. Will, how we doing? How you doing, mentally, emotionally, physically coming off the bye?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I feel like I got a great chance to reset myself mentally, physically, spiritually, and get, mind focused on this Cowboys week.
Now, when you were at Michigan, obviously you played some long seasons all the way to the national championship. But how does this compare so far to a college campaign?
It's different because, at this point in the year in college, you're like, okay, we got the month of November, and that's all we're thinking about. Now we got 10 more games left, so it's definitely different. But I feel like you said, at Michigan, we played 14, 15 games twice in my career while we were there. So my first 2 years. So, it's nothing that I haven't done before, so I feel like it's something I'm kind of used to.
You know, we had Max Melton a little while ago here on the Big Red Rage, and he said how far ahead you are as a rookie than he was at the same point. And we've talked about your defensive coordinators in Michigan were former NFL D coordinators. Mm-hmm. How big a difference do you think that has made, having played for Jesse Minter and Wink Martindale?
I think it helped me out a lot. Seeing the way they viewed the game, seeing the way, how they called defenses and how they saw offenses, and just the way they viewed it made me view the game a lot differently. Definitely being with Coach Minter for that year, he taught me a lot, and I definitely credit him a lot to that.
So there's a lot of, sticker shock, if you will, when guys see an NFL playbook for the first time, but I'm guessing you didn't necessarily experience a lot of that. You're used to a complicated scheme.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's all the same coverages we ran at Michigan, so yeah.
So what has been your biggest adjustment? I know that's a popular question for media types like me, but so far, halfway through your first year in the NFL, what has been the biggest adjustment?
I think it's just week to week, you're going against the best in the world. So, that's definitely a big difference between college and the pros. But, yeah, really just staying locked in every week, knowing you're going against a great opponent every week and just trying to go out there and do your best and be prepared for what they have to give you.
And I know, and Will Johnson is our guest, round 2 rookie. And look, I know you've never been in awe of NFL pro football, especially your upbringing, your dad. We'll get into that a little bit. But what about certain players? Is anyone, you've watched on TV all these years growing up that you've now been on the same field with? As a 19-year-old intern in the media business, right, all of a sudden I was interviewing Joe Montana and Ronnie Lott and Jerry Rice. And I grew up watching those guys.
Right.
And it was sort of an out-of-body experience. Mm-hmm. And then later I got a chance to interview Michael Jordan. That was crazy.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy.
Have you had that sort of moment when you looked around and said, wow, that's blank out on the field?
My first I think our first preseason game was against the Chiefs, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that game, I remember just seeing the view of Pat Mahomes throwing the ball at me was kind of crazy. But I would say guys like him, here every day, being around like Buddha and Calais and guys like that you just always saw growing up. I know we got more coming up in the future too, like the Devontae Adams and just dudes like that I've been watching since I can remember, And now I'm going to be lining up against them, so it'll be a special moment for sure.
Have they stopped throwing at you? The mic'd up segment with Mack Wilson Sr., there's a moment towards the end where you're on the bench And he said, well, that's what happens when you're one of the top-rated corners. You're not going to see a lot of action. The last couple of games, I mean, after you came out of the gates with all those PBUs, are you getting targeted less all of a sudden?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know those targets are coming. So, I mean, we got a lot of great matchups coming up, and my focus is on being ready when my time comes.
Would you rather be tested and targeted during a game? Because I'm sure you've had both, probably much more the latter, not getting tested. But, I mean, do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy teams coming at you?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to go out there and make plays on the ball. So, I mean, that's my goal, to go out there and get some interceptions. So that's definitely what I like. But at the end of the day, whatever it takes to get a win, that's what I want. How
often do you think about the interception that wasn't in the opener?
Every time I see it, it kind of eats me alive. But it's all right. They're on the way.
You know what, though? And I don't know if a lot of people realize this. You were running stride for stride and actually ran the route better than Rashid Shaheed, and he's a certified burner. Mm-hmm. You think you put something on film maybe that other teams noticed in week one?
Yeah, I mean, that was what a lot of people wanted to say about me coming out of college and things like that they didn't know what I was going to run in a 40 and things like that. So maybe that's what they saw, and maybe that put them on notice, yeah.
Will Johnson is our guest. How are you processing the draft in college before we move on to the Cowboys? I mean, we know your thoughts and your feelings, and I used it as motivation, a few months ago. Where are you in that process now?
I think I still feel the same way I felt about it then. It definitely opened my eyes to a lot of things, about a lot of people, and a lot of things. So it definitely made me hungry. It's always going to be a part of my journey and part of my story, and I'll never forget it. So that's going to be my motivation until I'm done playing football.
Will Johnson is our guest. All right, so now you get CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I mean, that's basically wide receiver 1 times 2.
Yeah.
From a start of a game to an end of a game, how much do you find out about a receiver, especially your first encounter? Mm-hmm. I mean, how much more comfortable by halftime are you going against a certain guy?
Yeah, by halftime, I mean, you pretty much know what you're going to get out of him for sure. I think it's, the kind of really that first drive, once you get those first few plays and kind of feel them out, you pretty much know what you're going to get.
What do you look for the most on film? Or what have you learned about film work and studying certain receivers? Or is that classified info? Yeah. Do you not want to give that up too much?
I'm trying to give you what can I really say.
Have you learned a lot about film work like from Buddha and some of the other guys, or were you guys pretty advanced in Michigan to begin with?
Yeah, I think we had pretty great coaches when I was at Michigan that taught me the fundamentals of just studying and game planning and things like that. But, it's different terminology, it's different ways. These coaches here see it too, that Buddha has been with them for a while now, so he can help me see what they see. But, yeah, I think I've known how to, scout receivers, at least since I've been in college.
We had Max Melton, as I mentioned. We talked a lot about the position of corner itself and how important confidence is, mental toughness. Mm-hmm. Is that something you had to develop? And what happens if you do give up a catch, dare I say a touchdown? Mm-hmm. What is your mindset in that moment?
Yeah, I think that's another thing, like you said, about my dad and him being a corner too. I think he gave me that mindset of, just the next play mentality, always finishing, never letting one play, bring you down. So that's always kind of been how I've been raised, playing football and things like that. So I've had hard moments in big games, and I feel like we're on a huge stage, and I've been on a big stage a lot and made mistakes before. So I think I've kind of been prepared for it, and even things like the draft, I feel like that's prepared me to, in a sense, to not really care what people have to say or think. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just that. It's more of an overall way you kind of view life. I feel like it plays into that too.
We've seen all your highlights. We've seen how you had more pick sixes than touchdown catches allowed. But was there a low moment that still sort of motivates you or fuels you that you automatically think of from time to time?
I think really the only touchdown I gave up in college, that was my first game my freshman year. I didn't give up one more the rest of my time in college. Yeah, so that definitely stuck with me while I was in college. So that's always, every time I go into a game, it's like no touchdowns, don't give up a touchdown. Like that's my main goal. So. Yeah. So what stands out the most about this Cowboys offense? Because they're putting up some numbers. They're putting up a lot of points. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge? They're explosive. I mean, like you said, they got 2 wide receiver ones, both very good athletes, both very good at catching the ball, tracking the ball in the air. I got a great quarterback in Dak. So they have done some great things throughout the year, and it's time for us to go, do what we were supposed to do and try to limit all those things that they do well.
All right, last question, rookie duties. What do you have to do for the cornerback room? Anything? What do they have you doing as a rookie?
So far, just making sure the room is supplied with snacks. That's about it so far.
Okay. I might have talked to a couple of your teammates in the room. They said if you want to go next level, decorate for the holidays.
Okay.
That was their value-added advice.
Okay.
I guess Max Mellon took it upon himself to get a tree for the room last year for the holidays. So
It's good to know.
there you go.
Appreciate that.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time.
Yes, sir, appreciate you.
There you go. Cardinals rookie cornerback will continue with the Big Red Rage right after this.
Kyler Murray returns to Dallas on Monday Night Football. The Cardinals and the Cowboys, old NFC East rivals, squaring off in front of the bright lights of national television on Monday night. Snap to Murray, drops back to throw. Looking deep, airing it out, middle of the field. He's got Kirk. It's caught at the 40. Kirk at the 30, the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. An 80-yard strike.
Oh, baby, that was huge right there, Kyler Murray.
Murray takes, handoff. No, he keeps it, running left, and Kyler Murray is in for the touchdown. 2 passing scores, and now a rushing touchdown.
Oh, my goodness, Kyler Murray.
Back in Texas, and some Monday Night Magic for Murray.
About it, circa 2020. Just the music itself. I mean, if I'm ready to get into a three-point stance, I can't imagine how that impacts a couple of former NFL guys, both who used to wear the number 24, Ron Wolfley, Adrian Wilson. It is the Big Red Rage, presented by Emergency Air. We are live from Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. And Kyler Murray is going home. Started Allen High School. He's been playing in that Cowboys stadium, Adrian Wilson, since basically age 15, since he was winning big school state titles in Texas as a sophomore, a junior, a senior. All time, he's 9-0, 8-0 as a starter in the building. This pretty much qualifies as the closest thing to a home game beyond that stadium behind us for Kyler Murray, right?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be comfortable. I mean, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be no butterflies in the stomach. He's definitely going to be comfortable, for sure.
What do you think Kyler Murray has got to go out and do over the course of these next 10 games, Stub? When you look at Kyler and his performance so far, what do you think he's got to do better in the next 10 games?
I think leadership, but that always is a hot button type situation with him. I do think he's a leader. I think he's a leader in his own way. I think everybody kind of reads into it because of just this top-tier quarterback play in this league. And those guys show something different than what our guy does. And that's not a bad thing. You know, 2 things can be right at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I think ability-wise and on the field, I think just having consistency. I think you have to be consistent every single game as a quarterback. Like, quarterback play is building up as the season goes on because you're only going to see so many things. Once people get the book on you, they have the book on you. So now it's your chance to adjust your game as the season goes on.
All right, so speaking of, is there anything perhaps he could have learned or gleaned from watching Jacoby Brissett? Albeit a totally different skill set in terms of body type, 6'4", 240, the ability to hang in there and, all the traffic around him and get that ball out. But the downfield passing game, do you think maybe it restored a little bit of his confidence, if you will, in some of his receivers to make those contested catches at the second and third levels?
No, you know what? I don't. And here's why. I think when he looks at the tape, he's going to see rhythm. And quarterback rhythm isn't touchdown, check down. It's underneath, then your intermediate read, and then the deep read. So I think that's what a lot of people, when they look at football and just not know football, like it's not, I'm finna chunk it down the field 40 yards. Like if that's not there for him, he's not going to take it. But you have to start out with underneath stuff. Like you have to start out with run game, checking it down to your tight ends on hank routes. Like just you start building your scheme up as you go along in the game. And I think Kyler saw that these past few games with Jacoby. Jacoby took what was there, and then as the game went on and as his reps went on, he started taking more shots downfield. Like that's quarterback play.
And I want to see that as well. I want to see Kyler take more shots down the field. Marvin Harrison Jr., I've been talking about it all off season, coming into this season, just how important it is to get Marvin Harrison Jr. going and Kyler Murray going. The chemistry between those two guys, in particular, being able to throw the ball down the field. The back shoulder fade, by way of example, right? I realize you can run that in the red zone as well. It's very effective there. But you can run that out when you're in the mid part of the field as well. When you're backed up, you can throw that back shoulder fade, and I'd like to see them really improve that and get the ball out because, man, when you can execute that play, it's pretty much unstoppable. If you've got a wide receiver who knows how to play that, who knows how to run the route, and a quarterback that knows where to throw that ball, it makes it almost impossible, even if you have a safety over the top sometimes, to actually stop that back shoulder throw.
Well, you know this much. Dak Prescott, he's having a heck of a year, and he can sling it, and he's put up some big numbers. In fact, here's Nick Rawlis, Cardinals defensive coordinator, on what makes the veteran quarterback such a challenge.
I think he is as tough as they get and as smart as they get. And, like, what I see with Dak is arm talent, pocket presence, ability to move and evade pressure. Yes, you can see that to the naked eye, but just his ability to undress a defense with his cadence and get him in the right calls and understand when he is hot or when he does have to stand in there, as we would maybe say, he's warm and he's getting hit and he just stand and delivers and makes throws, is high-level quarterback play.
All right, so Adrian Wilson, you watch a lot of the Cowboys games. What should scare the Cardinals the most about that high-scoring offense?
Yeah, I think they can do both things equally well. If you want to get into a shootout with those guys, they can get into a shootout. If you want to run the football and play light boxes, they're going to run the football on you. So, you know, when you look at this team offensively, they have two number one guys on the outside. They have a heck of a tight end on the inside. And then they have reserve guys that come in that have speed. So it's like, you know, you're threatened all over the field at all times. And when you're playing a guy like Dak, where Dak is a guy that he needs to get hot early. Once he gets hot early and he stays hot, that's when you start getting into trouble. When you look at last week against Denver, those guys completely shut them down because they took away the run game first.
It's one of the things, too, I think with Dak Prescott, I think you've got an offensive line that does an excellent job in terms of protecting him. Number 2 in sacks per attempt, and I know that that's not the end-all, be-all, Paulie, when you talk about a stat that you want to measure protection. I know that pressures are probably a better stat for that, but for the most part, they're number 2. They're number 4 in first downs in the NFL. Number 4, number 8 in third down offense as well. So they do an excellent job, I think, for the most part, protecting Dak Prescott. And then he knows how to read coverage, throw the ball, and complete passes.
All right, here's the good news for the Cardinals. The Dallas defense is historically bad in Cowboys history. What's the eyeball test tell you about the Cowboys defense?
In a nutshell, they have really good players. They really do. They have players right now that are meshing into a new system, a new scheme. And earlier, when I was talking to you guys earlier, you know, the Cardinals have to be able to run versus a 7-man box. If they don't, it's going to be a long game because now you're having to compete with that offense. And that's something that you don't want to do.
Yeah, last week against Denver snapped a streak for Dak Prescott of 4 straight games with at least 3 touchdown passes and no picks in all 4 of those games. Like, he was really rolling.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's something Denver did that the Cardinals could replicate, but they solved him somehow.
Denver ran the ball, run the ball.
Adrian Wilson, we really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
How about it, everyone? He's going to be on the Cardinals' premier travel trip over the weekend as well. Special thanks, as always, Jim Omohundro, Cody Fincher, Ali Narini, Lawrence Ellis, Wald Ellis. How about the crew out here at Flanker Kitchen and Sports Bar on the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium? That'll do it for the Big Red Rage presented by Emergency Air.